Have you been asked to divide polynomials such as this one using synthetic division and you have no idea how to do that? Or maybe it's been a while and you need a refresher. Well, if that's the case, you've come to the right place because I'm Professor Capko and I'm going to make this easy for you. But first, I want to say I believe something great is going to happen for you today. All right, back to the video. Now, when it comes to dividing polynomials, I did a prior video in which I did it through long division. If you haven't seen that video, I've got it linked up here in the corner. That would be dividing polynomials using long division. Now we're going to use synthetic division, which is a shorthand form of it. So the step we're going to start with is over here. I'm going to draw a little partial box, like a backward L. And over here in it, I'm going to take whatever this number is here, this constant, and I'm going to reverse the sign and put it here. So I'm going to copy it over here, 5. And since this is a positive 5, I'm going to put the opposite sign, which is negative. In other words, we're putting in here what the x value would be that would make this a 0. So whatever this constant is, copy it here and change the sign. Had it been a negative 5 here, we would have changed it to a positive 5 over here. The next step is I'm going to draw a line down here, and then I'm going to copy over the coefficients and the constant, leaving the variables alone. We don't need the variables because we're going to have them in order. We have the variables in order of their powers, having the highest power to the left and the constant to the right. So the first one is a 4, so I copy that there. The next one is a positive 5, so I copy that here. We don't have an x term. And just like we did in long division, we need to have a placeholder. So we're going to put a 0 here for that x term because it's 0 times x. And then we have this final constant 3. I'm going to copy that there. So all we have done is taken these numbers, leaving the variables behind, and recopied them here in the same order. The very next step is we're going to drop this 4 down here. And once we've done that, we're going to take the 4 and we're going to multiply it by this number here. 4 times negative 5. I've got a positive times a negative, so my answer is going to be a negative, and 4 times 5 is 20. I'm going to take that answer, I'm going to write it right here in this column above the line, negative 20. So again, I took this number and I multiplied it by this number here, and then I put the result here. So I've got the negative 20 here. I'm going to add here to the number that's above it. 5, that's a positive 5, plus a negative 20 is a negative 15. We're going to repeat the process. I've got the negative 15. I'm going to multiply it again by the negative 5. And since it's a negative times a negative, I know it's going to be a positive answer. So I can put the positive here. And we're going to put the answer right here in this column. And negative 15 times negative 5 is positive 75. Again, I'm going to add this to the number above. In this case is a 0, so I bring down my 75. Repeat the process one more time because there's one more column. I'm going to take the positive 75 and I'm going to multiply it by a negative 5. So I've got a negative answer. And if I need to, I can pull out the calculator. No shame in that. And just to be sure, 5 times 75 is equal to 375. And we know it's a negative because it's a negative times a positive. We take the 375, which is negative, so I can change the sign on that, and add 3 to it. So it's a positive 3, subtract 375, so that when I combine them, when I add them, that gives me a negative 372. Negative 372. Now that we've done that, we've completed all the columns, we can now recreate what our answer is. We started with an x cubed, so our first term is going to be an x squared. We just drop it down 1 power. And this is going to be our coefficient for it. So that's going to be 4x squared. Bring down my negative 15, minus 15. And then this is an x squared, so this becomes an x. And then I've got the plus 75, right? So it's a positive 75, and that's my constant. And that leaves me this last part here is the remainder. So it's remainder of negative 372. So I'm going to rewrite this in a little bit neater form. So my answer is going to be 4x squared minus 15x plus 75. And I'm going to add my remainder to it, which is negative 372 over, and again, I always write the remainder over what our original denominator was, which was the x plus 5. This is our answer, but if you want to be sure, the best way to do that is to check it. So I'm going to rewrite the answer, 4x squared minus 15x plus 75 plus minus 372 over x plus 5. I'm going to take that answer, I'm going to multiply it by our original denominator, which is x plus 5. So I'm going to multiply it out, and that means we have to distribute it. So we're going to rewrite it. I like to write these first. If you were finding this helpful, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So I rewrite the first term, 4x squared, and I put that, multiplying it by the x plus 5. And then I bring down the next term, negative 15x, and I multiply that one by the x plus 5. And then I bring down the next term, which is the plus 75, and I'm going to multiply that by the x plus 5. And then I bring down the last term, which is it's going to be I'm adding a negative 372 over x plus 5, and I multiply this one as well times x plus 5. Some of you may see what's going to happen with that last one, but we'll get to it in a moment. All right, now I have to distribute again. So 4x squared times x becomes 4x cubed. And then 4x squared times 5 becomes positive 20x squared. Distribute the negative 15. Negative 15x times x is negative 15x squared. Then I'm going to take the negative 15x and multiply it by 5. So that gives me a negative 75x. The next term, the 75, I'm going to distribute it. 75 times x is positive 75x. And then 75 times 5 is a positive 375. And then over here, the x plus 5 cancels out that x plus 5. So I'm left with negative 372. Now we're just going to clean it up. There are no other cubed terms, so I just copy that one down. 4x cubed. Let's combine all our like terms. I got 20x squared minus 15x squared gives me a positive 5x squared. Combine these terms, negative 75x plus 75x, that's a 0. So I'm not even going to bother to write that. And then I've got 375 minus 372 leaves me a positive 3. And if you notice, that is what we had up here as our original numerator. So we multiply the numerator, the denominator, times our answer, we get the numerator back. And that is our way of checking it. But don't forget, this is the actual correct answer. Everything below here was just a check. Hopefully you found this helpful. Now you know how to do synthetic division. There are other things that you're going to need to know to succeed in your classes and to succeed with this. So to make sure you don't miss anything, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and click on that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Until next time, thank you.